Well, hello again, Stephen Veronica Kibler here, and today we are on our way up into the Great Smoky Mountains National Park to see the changing of the leaves.
So join us on this little road trip as we go up the mountain to take a look at what the trees are doing in this fourth week of October.
Yeah, now we're just on the main road there, going into go at the top of the mountain, going up to like Newfoundland Gap is where we're going to go to eventually, and then we're going to come back down the hill and go to Gallenberg.
Yes, we are. So again, just want to see what the trees are doing and capture some of the beautiful scenery and share it with you so you could see what fall is doing with the trees.
Yeah. So we're just going around the... If you've ever been on this road, you know there's a lot of curves and everything, so you got to be careful. And you can catch the glimpse. Of course, Veronica's doing the filming while I'm doing the driving, and you can see a lot of the changes of the leaf colors and all that.
And there was a lot more traffic, I think, because of the folks who are using this road to get back and forth.
Between North Carolina and Tennessee?
Yes. So normally during the week, midweek, we don't expect this much traffic, but...
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons. One is because what you said with the people, to get to North Carolina, this is basically the way you got to go because a lot of roads have been washed out, in between Tennessee and North Carolina.
Due to Helene. And so while that repair is going on, folks are using alternate routes, and this is one of those routes that they're taking. So there was a lot more traffic than we expected on a weekday.
Yeah. But it's also the fall color time, too.
And that brings in a lot of visitors as well. Yeah. So a lot of folks coming out to enjoy the beauty of the color, the trees changing colors. And we're one of those folks.
Yeah. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park, there is no entry fee. And, of course, the road is a main road. It goes from North Carolina, into Tennessee and, back and forth. So, I mean... There's no entry fee or anything like that to come to this park. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the busiest national park of all the national parks.
And we are so glad that people are able to come out and really enjoy the beauty of this national park. Mm-hmm. And as we get higher into the higher elevation, we can see more colors. Yeah,
now it's a little, it's kind of a mix because... You think the higher you go, the better colors are going to be, but the reality is that the trees that have leaves on them, don't go up as high.
Yeah, you get the more into the pines and conifers, the higher elevation you go.
Exactly.
So you got that like middle spot where right now the colors are very vibrant.
Yeah. So, you got to kind of pick and choose depending on what kind of angles you want to get. Now, if you want to get just the total look down on top of the colors, then, you want to go up to the higher elevations and all that.
But we were glad to find a lot of good colors, lower in the lower area.
Yeah, so we didn't have to drive up as high as, to go up to, Klingman's Dome area or, some other high point.
Yeah, so that was kind of nice because there was quite a bit of traffic, so we didn't want to be too much in the traffic, but we also wanted to capture the beautiful colors before they're all gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of hit and miss when you drive up there, during the fall colors times. And here we, finally pulled over and looked out a little bit. And, get some beautiful... colors. And this is when we're by the creek or
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a little creek down here that we were able to also take a look at, and it wasn't there wasn't a lot of water running through it, but there was water running through it. So
it sounded pretty.
It sounded very pretty. And you just got to be real careful when you're coming down this side of the mountain. Because it is pretty steep.
Yeah, you got to watch your footing and all that. A lot of the trailheads that are on the way up to Newfoundland Gap is they were all full. Those parking areas were just full. I mean, there was people trying to squeeze into every little spot that they could find to park to walk on some of the trails. So we wasn't able to get to, the walking trails.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, we still had a good time.
Oh, and the air was fresh and crisp, and it definitely feels like fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got some good color there.
And here we are back on the road, heading up a little bit further, higher up elevation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as we're going back up the hill here, I hope the camera is catching all the color. Sometimes the cameras don't capture the color as well as what you see it in person. So I just, and then the way the sun's shining through there and all that, you hope that the camera catches it. I think this is the Little Pigeon River.
And I know for us, when we've lived in different areas where we have had the beautiful maple trees planted in our front yard or, around our neighborhood, that I enjoy just walking outside and
looking at them,
through walking through the neighborhood and looking at those trees that are changing colors. So this is not just, available to you at these mountains. You can walk out your neighborhood and
there's so many places
experience those beautiful colors.
So many places in the United States that have beautiful tree colors. The trees that turn in color in the autumn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's one of my favorite things to do in the fall is just either walk outside my neighborhood or, just driving to the store. Look at the different colors of the trees around us.
Yeah, it don't have to be a big mass bunch of trees. Just, even a few trees together is beautiful. Yeah. And I do kind of miss the, like the sugar maples and all that would get more of your reds and bright oranges and all that. A lot of the, maybe not sugar maples, but maple trees in general, they tend to have a lot more reds and all that.
And here we could still see the moon.
Yeah.
The camera was trying to focus. It didn't know whether to focus on the sky or the moon.
Yeah.
But it was really neat to see that the moon was still out, and this was around 10:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really, really neat to see that moon just hanging out there over the beautiful mountain.
Yeah. Let's see. It looks like we're still on our way up.
Yes, we are.
Beautiful sights, though. Now, if you've never been to the Great Smoky Mountains, it's worth coming here to see. If nothing else, I mean, even not during the time of fall, it's just a beautiful place to visit. I used to come up here as a kid. My parents loved coming up to the Smoky Mountains. We lived in Illinois at the time, and they used to love coming down here on their vacations. Now we're at Newfoundland. Yeah, I recognize that.
This place was very busy also.
Oh, my goodness.
They had tour buses parked here and a lot of folks taking in the beauty of the mountainside.
Mm-hmm. And then when they first pulled in, everybody's trying to get the first parking spot they can see. If they just drove to the back a little bit, there were several more parking spots. Now we're on our way back down the hill.
But it's not a big parking lot, so
no, it's not huge.
It's a challenge to find parking spaces there when everybody's trying to park and get their picture taken and do a little bit of filming of the mountainside.
Yeah, we're heading back towards Gatlinburg now, and one thing I noticed when we were driving is that the light the way the sun was shining on the trees, I think it gave better light onto the trees, in my opinion.
I think so. Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends which side the light is coming in from.
Mm-hmm.
But there is limited spaces or spots where you can stop, so it does make it a little bit challenging to stop and film along the way, just because there was so much traffic going by that everybody trying to pull over and stop.
At least the spots that had better views,
We didn't see any bears on this day.
No.
In a way, I was glad because that tells me they were staying further back into the mountains, which is safer for the bears when there's this much traffic traveling through these roads. But I always think, hopefully folks are driving carefully and a little bit slower because of those bears that do live in these mountains and the mama bears that have the cubs and of course are trying to cross the roads to get to more food. And so always be cautious of that if you're in this area, that the slower you go, sometimes, you may see more things.
Yeah.
And
that's right. You got to always be on the lookout for wildlife, whether it's bears or deer.
Yeah, because we also have deer in this area.
Any other critters.
Yep, we have seen deer before. So, yep.
I haven't seen any elk, at least on the Tennessee side. I guess the North Carolina side has elk at places down closer to Cherokee.
And there are a lot of dark areas that you go through because just depending on the sun where, it's at the time of the day. So it does, it makes it a little bit challenging to, to deal with the filming part of, the different lights changing so quickly.
Yeah. And you never know how long the trees are going to take to turn color or how long the color is going to stay on, because anytime you have a storm come through, it can blow all the leaves that are already changing off, and so it's kind of a hit and miss. I mean, generally the month of October is when it starts, but it can go a little bit into November or not make November.
Yes, we can see a lot of these trees already lost their leaves.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we were thinking. If we wait too long, then we might not capture the leaves still on the trees.
So it's always a gamble anytime you drive up
but
or go any distance.
It makes me feel happy to see that so many people do enjoy taking in the beauty of the changing of the leaves. Something that's so beautiful and natural in our environment, and that happens every year. And I just, it just makes me really, really happy. It makes me feel good to know folks are taking in this beauty and really enjoying it.
And this, looking at the trees and everything, driving through the national park, it doesn't cost you anything except for gas and, and all that. But a lot of people want to know what you can do in this area that doesn't cost a lot of money. Well, this is one thing you can do. Now, we personally have a parking pass. They do require parking passes now if you're going to park for more than 15 minutes in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. But other than that, I mean, if you're just going to stop and take a few quick pictures or something like that, you don't have to worry about it. But this doesn't cost. I mean, you can take a family, show this beauty, of the trees and everything, just the beauty of the park itself, the mountains. And it doesn't really cost anything besides, the gas and everything that you would use driving around.
Which you would use anyways to drive anywhere you're going to drive to.
Yeah. But, so many families are on a budget and, they don't have the money to do all the attractions like in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg and stuff. But this is something you can do that doesn't cost a lot of money.
And there is picnic areas along the different parts of the Great Smoky Mountains, and folks do take advantage of that. So, and then the kids like to, play in the little creeks, the rivers. So, again, just natural beauty that folks can take advantage of.
When I was a kid growing up, in the mid to late 60s and early 70s, we didn't know. I mean, Pigeon Forge really wasn't anything going on. I mean, we'd go to Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg's always been a tourist trap. I mean, it's always been that way, and we'd look at shops there, but we could, go play in the creeks and stuff like that. That's what we did as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Play on the rocks, and,
Yes, the outdoors, the fresh air, fresh water, yeah. And get all that energy out, right?
Yeah.
Get tired.
And of course, Mom would always, she would make a bunch of sandwiches, and pack and bring stuff to make more sandwiches. That's what we didn't like go to a lot of the restaurants and stuff. Mom made sandwiches and everything, and that's what we would eat when we'd go on these trips.
And you fell in love with the Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountain area, because I know you've been wanting to live here forever and ever.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about wanting to move to Tennessee for a very long time. And we're finally here, so we are absolutely taking advantage of the beauty of this area. Yeah. And again, it just makes me happy to see that so many folks are able to come out and visit this national park, especially during this season when the trees are changing colors and take in that beauty.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see, like we just passed that one pullover spot there, and there just wasn't as much to see at that point, so you don't see a lot of cars there. Most other spots that are closer to the peak lookout areas, that those places were all full, on the walking trails. And we're getting closer to Gatlinburg now.
Yes, we are on our way back down to Gatlinburg, where we're going to explore Gatlinburg and bring you another video on that to show you what's going on in Gatlinburg.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely wanted to come up to the mountain before the trees drop their leaves and capture all their vibrant colors.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some more beautiful colors. The side of the mountain.
Yeah, and that's not real far up. It's not real far up the mountain.
And again, it just depends on the type of trees also that
exactly
are
the
there.
Species of trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if they're regular pine trees or conifers, those don't really change color. They stay green. So then a lot of these other ones that are maples basically drop their leaves.
Sure
they dry up, and then we noticed they were just dropping their leaves, but they weren't really colorful.
Yeah.
But if you're enjoying this video, we encourage you to click that little like icon. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we encourage you to do so also. That sure would help us to grow our channel so we can continue to bring you more videos like these of places we visit and restaurants we review. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It is free to subscribe. And we thank you for joining us. And here we are, back in Gatlinburg.
Yeah. Gatlinburg was really busy on this day.
And it also has beautiful
See, and that's a beautiful
trees.
tree right outside the parking garage. Yeah.
So color everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful time in the Great Smoky Mountains. There's the Margaritaville Resort Hotel, along with all the other shops. It's a great day to go up to Anakeesta.
We thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you go outside, even in your neighborhood, that you're finding some of these beautiful trees that are changing colors and get to enjoy the beauty of them. And we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching, everyone.